Hanging out with Brett Deyo, one of my final interviews before I head home here at the Northeast Racers Auction and Trade Show. Obviously, the Short Track Super Series, that is Brett Deyo. They had 4 races or 5? It was 4 that ended up being 5 that
scheduled. We ran 4, Texas and Louisiana.
How did that whole thing come about in the first place? How did we end up getting that far away from up here?
It was there were some cars down there, some cars in the Dallas market and some in Shreveport, Louisiana, and they were kind of looking for a home. And during COVID, some of our northern drivers went down and ran an unsanctioned race at Chatham, Louisiana, and that kind of opened the door. Then we put together our first Cajun swing, which was in 2020 in the fall, and hit 3 races that first time. And after that, we saw there was enough of a base of local cars that we were able to put together our Short Track Super Series Cajun region, which races during the summer locally with drivers from Texas and Louisiana.
Okay.
So that started a couple of years ago, and this year we had several races that were over 20 cars, in the summer in Texas and Louisiana. So
which is
the
pretty
division's
good.
taking off. Yeah, there's a pocket of cars in Dallas, and there's another pocket around Shreveport. We're starting to put them together. We have a point fund, a schedule. We're using the Short Track Super Series brand and contingency awards and bonuses, and it's really growing. And this year you saw it, with our swing. We have 42 different drivers over the 4 nights at the track.
Wow.
And that's 20 hours from our home base, the Northeastern Modified home base.
How many were from the Northeast base?
We had about 13 to 15.
Okay.
And the rest of them were local cars.
So you would have had a full field anyway.
Oh, yes. We had a great field of cars, and it's awesome to grow our division outside of the Northeast, and Glenn Donnelly went down there in the late 80s. He ran some races in the Dallas market and then kind of got away from it, and now we're back down there making it happen, and we're looking forward to next year going back down and getting the Cajun region going again. We got Ollie's to sponsor this year.
Yeah, because they're nationwide.
It was great to bring a national sponsor back into modified racing, and they were into it. We had race cars out at the stores, we had discount tickets at the stores,
nice.
And it really activated.
Didn't one of the teams show up? If I remember that I talked to, they were going to an Ollie's.
Yes, David Schilling had the Ollie's.
Yes, that's the one.
Car. Yes, he was out doing some appearances. He had the Ollie's paint scheme, driver suit, and they,
Beautiful.
Their employees had someone to cheer for, and he did great. He did awesome all week, and it really brought a national company back into modified racing, which was awesome.
I remember seeing some pictures. I don't exactly know when, but weren't they running the modifieds like with a sprint car wing down in Texas for?
Yes.
Oh, they still do.
Yes, they still do. They have a wing modified racing association where they run sprint car wings. We obviously take them off for our events, but they do run some winged events still. There's a couple of clubs. One of them's in like Shreveport based. The other one's over toward Dallas. A couple of wing modified associations. So yeah, they do have clubs that do that, and then they take them off to run with us.
So what can you tell me now about next year? Because I'm sure you're already starting to do a lot of things. What information can you give me here on Saturday? What is it, the 19th, I think, today? Something?
Yes, we won't be off too long.
Really?
We're starting the first week of February. We're stopping at Lakeview Speedway in South Carolina. We'll be doing a 3-day event there with Thursday practice, Friday paid qualifying races, Saturday the main events.
Okay.
Then we'll have a Sunday rain date. We take Monday off, and then we pick up that Tuesday at back in Florida for the Sunshine Swing at All-Tech Speedway in Lake City, Florida. Really looking forward to getting back down there. That's an awesome facility. Wendell and his crew do a really nice job. So we're headed down there. So it's not too many days off.
Yeah, it doesn't sound
We'll
it.
be gearing up for that, and then we'll pick up in the Northeast in March. So we're working on our schedule. We'll planning on doing another Elite Series program like we did this year, the Halmar Elite Series in our North and South. Great sportsman division, North and South as well. So we'll have a full slate. Getting excited for Fonda and Utica as well. We put LED lights in both tracks last year, so that was a
yeah. It was at
big
Utica.
game.
That looked the best I'd ever seen.
Yes, and then we put the LEDs in for the Fonda 200, and that was literally night and day.
It's amazing
Beautiful,
what that does.
Yes. And we're working at Georgetown, bringing the corners in to tighten that up, make it
kind
a
of the
little
trend,
smaller.
isn't it, to make the tracks a little smaller, easier on engines
doing
and stuff?
some projects at Georgetown. We moved some barriers the day after our last race in October, so we're that process is underway, and it's going to be a good year. It's going to be a busy winter for us. But really, we haven't had an off season yet. We got back from Texas Monday, and we're here.
Well, you can relax on Monday, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
There you go. He's gonna just don't call him on Monday, guys. Give him a day to at least hang out with his wife, right?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Wife, girlfriend. I always get confused depending on who I'm talking to. I would imagine the other thing, because I was talking to somebody about this earlier today. Actually, we really, I think, are in a unique point in this sport where we're starting to see professionals win more races than the amateurs, the guys who maybe just did it once or twice. So with those thoughts in mind, how do you race enough and not race too much where people who aren't professionals can still race. That's got to be something that goes through your head a lot, I would imagine.
It was nice to see some different names get in the winner's circle this year, especially at Honda. We had more winners than we had in previous seasons. But, there is, these big races. We're putting up 25,000 here, 50,000 there. The cream's going to rise to the top just like they do in late model racing.
Yes.
But we got to keep it so that there are events, like the working man race at Afton. While dirt cars at Oswego, we ran that. Wasn't for points, so you didn't have to come down.
Right, it wasn't a 2-day deal where you had to...
It wasn't great to see Craig Hansen and Demetrius Strelis race for a win.
That's
you
true.
see some different names. So we need to do a little bit more of that. Some races when the professionals are elsewhere, and keep the weekly teams making some big paychecks and keep them motivated.
So that is something that is in your head as you put all this stuff together.
Yes. And right now there's Matt Williamson and Matt Shepard and Stuart Friesen, and those guys are on
Anthony
the top of their
Parego
game.
is a professional,
They're on the top of their game. So they're racing. We just talked about we put on 80 events this year. Those guys are racing 80 times a year between all theirs. So they're obviously going to have more knowledge and more notes in the notebook than somebody that runs 20 times a year on a Saturday night.
Or even the guy, let's say, who runs Fonda weekly but doesn't travel, and here comes the big race to his track.
Sure.
It's great because, boy, if he does something, wow, But I would imagine that some of them it's probably a little intimidating.
Yes,
I would
and that's
think
why
too,
we need
right?
to continue to pay very well for 10th place.
Right
through the field,
15,
keep the green money. Keep that good, and keep the weekly teams coming back.
And a lot of the special awards that we have too, farthest toe.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of those things.
All
I'm sure that extra $300.
Yep, keeps them coming. 100%. So we need to keep working on that, and you're never going to stop the good guys from being good.
No, you're not.
But if you can make the payouts balance and keep people coming, that's key.
Good to see you. Anything you want to say to all your racers who supported you all year?
Just a big thank you. It's been a long year. We didn't have one rain out at Fonda all year.
I can't
we
believe
had one
that.
rain out, just one, at Utica Rome. It was a long season for everyone that supported us, especially with tire shortages, part shortages. And
I'm surprised we got through it.
We kept our car counts high, and it was a great year. So.
Yeah, and Utica, it still rained on Sunday a lot of times at Utica. It's amazing how that turns out. So good to see you. Have a great holiday. Okay, man?
Thank you.